Hi, today we will explore two different methods for student heights, which is the bubble sort and shell sort. Sorting is important in many situations, like organizing data, finding ranks, and analyzing results. I will use two Python codes and show step-by-step process on how each sorting method works for student height data. First, let's look at bubble sort in this Python file. Now, what is bubble sort? Bubble sort is a classic algorithm, simple but useful for small lists. It works by repeatedly comparing neighboring items and swapping them if they are in the wrong order. Our student data includes both names and heights in feet. Also, the code converts each height to inches to make the sorting accurate, especially when comparing different units. How does bubble sort work? First, it begins at the first student and checks pairs one by one. And if a student is taller than the next one, they swap places. This process continues until every student is in order from shortest to tallest. And here, as we can see, after sorting, we get a clear list showing each student's name and their height, from highest to lowest. Now, we know that bubble sort is simple to understand and works well for this size of data. Now let's move on and let's talk about shell sort from this second Python file. What is shell sort? Shell sort is more advanced and is much faster for bigger lists, using a gap method. The program first checks that every student name only contains letters and spaces. It asks for the number of students, then gets each name and their height. Now let's input the student data. While I'm inputting the student data, let's talk about shell sort. How does shell sort work? Shell sort starts by comparing students who are far apart in the list, using a gap. And with each round, the gap gets smaller, and the list becomes more sorted. Eventually, the gap is 1, and the algorithm finishes by making final comparisons. After this, everyone is sorted from shortest to tallest. And here, as we can see, we have the unsorted and sorted data. This is what we input, which contains names and heights of students. And this is the output where all of the data is sorted from lowest to highest. And to make sure our sorting is correct, we compare the outputs of both bubble sort and shell sort. And if you remember the output of the bubble sort, it's exactly the same as in the shell sort. Now that both sorted lists place the students in exactly the same order. With this match proves both algorithms work as we intended. This also proves that you can rely on either method for accurate sorting. But why does sorting correctly matters? It matters because it makes information easy to understand. In this video, I explain how bubble sort and shell sort work for sorting student heights. I showed each step, demonstrated both algorithms, and verified the results by comparison. Both Python codes are clear and accurate. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned some sorting basics today.